if you clicked on this video, then we already have something in common. We've had to get through a loss in our life before. Going through loss, whether it's with a relationship, whether it's friendships, or a family member, any other loved one, it's hard. It's not easy, and I want to say that you are strong and you are so brave for even coming as far as you've already come. But as strong as you are, I know there's still those in-betweens, so I'm gonna come and I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how to be better at accepting loss. Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Sahara. So the first step to accepting loss for me in anything and what I had to learn was self-love. To love myself first before any obstacle, before any problem, before anything. And what that does for you is if you are choosing yourself and you're choosing to love yourself above all your obstacles, they can't destroy you, they can't bring you down, they can't do anything for you except teach you something, because you've already put that love into yourself to say that all of this is happening as an experience. All of this is just life. Number two is to grieve and just to acknowledge your pain. There is a very big thing in this society where it's like we're not supposed to be aware of our feelings. We're not supposed to show our feelings. We're supposed to be tough. We're supposed to have a hard shell. But in our reality, being soft and having feelings, being emotional is such a superpower that people don't realize, because it is allowing you to experience life to the fullest. If you are not experiencing all your emotions to the fullest, then you are not experiencing life to the fullest. So acknowledge your pain, acknowledge what it is and why it's there, and then grieve. In whatever way that you grieve. Allow yourself to do that and allow yourself to be comfortable with it, and allow it to be a safe space for you that you don't have to feel as if it's an embarrassment. The third tip, which is to have a support system. Have a support system around you, whether that be other family, other friends, a significant other, somebody. Have somebody in your corner. Make sure that they are there and they're supporting you. Sometimes your support system is only you, but that's okay. If you are your only support system, that is when self-love really kicks itself up to the top notch. When I was going through a loss, I would say the biggest loss that I've ever experienced is my mom. So when I was going through that, self-love was like one of the first things I had to teach myself. And it wasn't something that I necessarily taught myself, but with the things that I was doing and with the thought processes I had, and me grieving and understanding and relearning some stuff that came with. Another thing is to forgive. Forgiving is very, very big. That is one of the biggest things to help you move on, because if you cannot forgive the situation, then you can never move on from the situation. If you're gonna sit and constantly think about it, constantly repeat it in your head, constantly replay scenarios, you're not forgiving and you're only replaying the past. And one thing about replaying the past is that it's only gonna be in here. Every day is going to keep moving whether you want it to or not. So are you gonna move with it, or are you gonna stay in the past? The longer you do that, the further away you get from the present. Another tip is to be grateful. Be grateful for what you have already. There's a saying, and I've heard it all around, is that if you have something that you're ungrateful for, you have 100 more things to be grateful for. Any loss that you experience, you have other things coming your way. So just be prepared for things like that. Be grateful, have gratitude, show love to what is showing love to you, show love to what is already in front of you and is already providing for you. Another one is just acceptance. Accept that what happened will not change. If you lost somebody in your life, accept that you can't go back. You can't take it back. You can never do it again. You could never start over. You can only take what you know and move forward. A lot of people say, well, if I had known, if I knew what I know now, It doesn't matter. You do know it now. So take what you know now and apply it to the future. Don't keep staying where you are and be stagnant in your own growth. Another thing is to be honest. Be honest with yourself and be honest with the people around you. If you're having a bad day, say that you're having a bad day. If today is not one of those days, then say today isn't one of those days, because nobody's gonna know how you feel but you. And if you're not expressing that to other people, and if you're not just being expressive in general, it would make your support system weak. If you have other people in your corner trying to help you, it will weaken your support system because you are lacking the communication and the honesty that is required to keep that relationship healthy and going. Another thing is that healing is not linear. It's not a straight line. Everybody is different. Everybody has a unique way of healing. Make sure that it's not anything that is detrimental to anybody else. Make sure that your healing isn't hurting anybody else. Make sure that you are expressing your emotions in a healthy way. You can feel good for a month and then crash right after that. It's not linear. You could be fine for a year and then crash. It just happens. If you lost somebody, they're never gonna come back. Maybe one day it just really dawns on you, wow, this really happened. This is real. Sometimes when you get so busy with living your life, you forget the real harsh truth behind things, how brutal loss really is. Loss is brutal, but it's almost necessary to help you as a person, because one thing I've learned is that when you are in the same position over and over and over, day in, day out, especially when it comes to putting yourself in other people's shoes, it becomes very hard to navigate the world if you're only in your own shoes and you're only in your own position. Sometimes it takes a loss to pull you out of your own head. There's two extremes to this tip. It's either somebody who's going to separate themselves from everything or consume themselves in everything. Now, my tip here is not to be either one, but to be in the middle. Because the problem is, if you separate yourself from everything, that's isolation. Sometimes isolation works for people, but don't keep yourself isolated for a long time, because then that can turn into depression. So I would say isolation works, but be careful with how you are isolating yourself. Consuming yourself, whether it's with work or with people, you are not allowing yourself to truly know and feel your emotions, because you're stuffing your time and your brain with everything but what is important, but the main picture. So you have to give yourself time to sit and think and to comprehend and to come up with your own conclusions, because if you're spending all your time with doing everything else, then one day those feelings are just going to catch up to you. That's kind of what happens with healing not being linear. You can be doing something every single day, day in, day out, filling your time, and you think that you're okay, and one day you crash. That is because you thought you were okay with how much things you were consuming your head with, how much things you were consuming your time with, when in reality, you were putting up roadblocks in front of the actual problem. You're trying to separate yourself from the problem. My last tip goes along with being honest, but it's being open. One thing that's different about being open than being honest, though, if you're honest, being honest is if somebody asks you something, you're gonna tell them the truth. I'm being honest. Being open is willingly expressing yourself, willingly being available to the people around you. So what that does is it allows you to reiterate your emotions. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I'm sure all of us have at least once. Sometimes you can be telling a story to somebody and uncover feelings you didn't even know you had. You can uncover things that you didn't even realize before, just from having that conversation with somebody. So I say being open and being transparent is a very, very big thing when it comes to healing. And being open with yourself as well. If you're somebody who likes to talk to God, likes to talk to yourself, be open and let your ideas flow. Let everything you have to say just flow. Let all of it out. Because if you're keeping it in, it's not gonna do anything for you. Think of a bottle. If you put too much in a bottle, what's gonna happen to that bottle? It's gonna explode. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a bonus tip. This bonus tip is not anything that I've even used to my advantage, but therapy. Therapy is a good way, once again, if you don't have anybody in your corner or you feel like you're the only person in your corner and you would like somebody to talk to, look into therapy. Like, there's free options for people as long as you have insurance. So I would say definitely look into that. I know it's not for everybody. I'm not even sure if it's for me, but it may work for some people. So I would say definitely look into that if that's something that you're interested in. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. What other tips do you guys think I should give you? What other tips do you think that I missed in this video? Let me know how you guys have been dealing with the loss, and let me know, what that is like for you guys. I'm praying that everybody is doing well and that you guys are not letting your thoughts consume you, that you guys are rising above. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
I'm not rocking with you now, no, you ain't no kin to me. Niggas sliming out their blood, no, there ain't no liberty. I'm a